Hello, everyone, and welcome back to What's Going On Seville. We have some very lovely sisters and co-authors on the show today. Yes. We have Jennifer Melton and Stephanie Salmon Weis, right? As in wisdom? That's right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's really a pleasure to have you here, and you co-authored a book together called Pink Sky at Night. That's correct, right?
We did. We actually co-authored the book after our father passed away not quite 2 years ago from lung cancer, and he was otherwise healthy, and he was 59 years old.
Wow. Well, I was reading some of the reviews on your website about the book, and it touched many people's lives. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write it? Did you meet other people on your journey after your father passed, or?
I think it was more, Jennifer and I both have small children, and so we were looking for a way to sort of tell our father's story to them. And really, as we thought about memories and different ways of sharing our experience growing up with a great father, it sort of turned into a journey of our lives and experience with my father's battle with cancer, and so we kind of turned ourselves into characters, which is what inspired us to ultimately write the book.
That's wonderful.
We had actually talked, of course, as sisters do, crying on one another's shoulders and that kind of thing, and how important he was to us. And he really represented a lighthouse to our family. And that's kind of where the story started, and it kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you use sort of the metaphor of tugboats and a lighthouse. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the tugboats? Are you the tugboats?
We are. They represent my mother and my sister and myself.
Wow. And the lighthouse?
Is Dad.
Tell us a little bit about the book. Tell us about it.
It's actually, like Stephanie said, it's a metaphor about our family's journey through our dad's experience with lung cancer, and how, I guess, metaphorically, it's the lighthouse and these 3 tugboats, and a storm hits the harbor. And the story is about how they will weather the storm without him.
I'm just going to read a little quote.
Sure.
What happens when you find yourself alone and facing the storm of a lifetime? Where do you turn when you have lost the one thing that keeps you afloat? Will you sink or will you swim? So I take it the answer is swim.
Yes, we kept swimming.
Yes,
certainly.
That's very inspiring.
Right. Well, thank you.
It happened quite quickly, didn't it?
It did, and in the story, not to sort of, I guess, give away the ending, but we all found strength together, and also strengths that we weren't aware that we all had. And so it's a story of pulling together and facing any storm, whether it be battling cancer or just, we've even had families that had fathers or mothers go away to war, that this was really touching for them as well, because it is, you do look to that one person in your family unit. And so really it caused us to take a step back and look at the strength that we all had still together.
It's lovely.
So I take it you've learned a lot about lung cancer since.
We have.
Absolutely.
Tell us about
And it just so happens to be Lung Cancer Awareness Month,
Yes,
November,
is.
right? So
it is,
please.
this month. In fact, after Dad passed away, I personally didn't know what to do. He was our hero. I mean, he was our lighthouse, and I contacted the National Lung Cancer Partnership, and they're a wonderful organization, and they immediately scooped me up, into their wing and encouraged me to become an advocate, and that way something good is coming out of something bad. So I guess it was April of this past year, we had the opportunity to fill out an essay, a questionnaire that they have, and every year they have a summit. So you apply for the summit, and out of hundreds nationwide, we were selected, the only ones out of Virginia, to attend. And they trained us everything, soup to nuts, on the science of lung cancer, advocacy.
Wow.
Everything. It was a very eye-opening experience.
And how do they do the choosing process? Was it just random, or?
They have a board and a panel that sits down and they review each application. And as I said, it was a series of essay questions, and then they determine who they feel will make the biggest impact in their community, and they picked us.
What an honor.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
It was.
That is really amazing. So you probably can correct me if I'm wrong on these statistics, but breast cancer has a huge backing, huge funding, right, for the Komen cure for cancer.
Yes.
And is it true that lung cancer is actually diagnosed more frequently per second than breast cancer? Is that correct?
Absolutely. Actually, every 25 seconds, someone dies of lung cancer, as opposed to 1 minute and 9 seconds for breast cancer. And even though lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer and supersedes many of the cancers combined in deaths per year, it remains the least or the most underfunded.
Why?
And 60% of newly diagnosed cases are women, and they're non-smokers. So what we need to do is really take another look at the stigma that says lung cancer is a smoker's disease, because that's just not the case.
So you think that's what might be holding back potential funding or attention, that it's kind of your fault because you smoked, kind of thing?
I do.
Absolutely. There's a huge stigma associated with it.
And that doesn't translate to, say, certainly skin cancer is a good example. I mean, we all know that we should wear sunscreen, but we don't always. But we're also not denied, the best treatment and research to sort of figure out. And screenings are available, and there's no screening available for lung cancer, and that's kind of a starting point, we think, to early diagnosis and hopefully preventing a lot of the deaths from lung cancer.
And I think what shocked me most was reading that 90% of women diagnosed with breast cancer will survive, as compared to 20% of lung cancer patients will survive.
Wow.
It's huge, and I think it's wonderful, the movement that is behind breast cancer, and it's our dream really to see that we will one day have that same movement behind lung cancer.
That's your goal.
Yes.
That's what you're reaching for.
Absolutely.
With your lighthouse.
We're making strides, and y'all are helping us, and thank you
Good.
so much.
It's our pleasure.
What can people do?
Well, I think just learning about the disease and the reality that it is the deadliest form of cancer, and it is not a smoker's disease. And I think familiarizing yourself with the symptoms and getting involved, just talking about it. We have a walk that's coming up, but it's going to be the first one in Richmond, our inaugural Free to Breathe walk on March 12th. So that's a great opportunity to come out and just stand up and be a part of this movement in the beginning.
Is there any information on a website that people could go to?
It is. We have a Facebook page, and it's Free to Breathe Richmond. And then we also have our website as well, pinkskyatnight.com, and also on Facebook too.
That's great.
So with all the research, are they finding anything that they're attributing it to other than the obvious smoking and coal mining?
Right, and they're trying to determine a genetic predisposition right now. And another interesting thing that Jennifer and I learned, we got to tour the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa this past April, and they are trying to look at cancer, or sort of type cancers, so that it's not from the organ or place of origin, but looking at cancers. You can help me out with this. Like, I think ovarian and lung look very similar.
It's gene mapping, where they're actually looking at the gene of the cancer cell, and when they get them on the computer screen, they look very similar. So maybe one day we won't have a classification by organ; it will be a type of cancer.
That would be great.
That was very
amazing.
Interesting. Amazing. And one other thing as well, we had a number of people, we had I think 25 survivors in our class, and a number of them were in their early 30s, women who had never smoked. So yeah. I believe 5% is attributed to secondhand smoking as well.
So has there been a very big increase in the number of cases, or is it just that there's more awareness, or is it actually growing? Is it on the rise?
I believe that the statistics are showing over the course of the last maybe 10 years that it's steady. We're seeing a little decline as far as the men's death rate, but with women it's level, it's plateaued, and I guess it's, it's just as much about public policy and awareness as it is about the science behind it. So I think we just need that movement. We need people to say something has got to be done. You see pink ribbons everywhere, so we're hoping that we'll see pearl ribbons one day too.
Because I think in 2010, the number of women that will die from lung cancer is right around 71,000 as compared to 39,000 women from breast cancer. Wow. So it's a pretty significant difference.
And 4,000 in Virginia, men and women, will die this year from lung cancer.
So we need to move on this.
Absolutely.
You said pearl ribbon. Is that the
yes,
the symbol?
It's pearl colored. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, ladies.
Sure,
the time just flies when we have great guests like you. And I just want to say to our viewers that these lovely ladies have donated a book that they will sign, and we'll give this to the first emailer. So give us an email at lana@valivingtv.com and get your copy of Pink Sky at Night. It's beautiful. And just quickly, you took these photos yourself and digitally enhanced them on the computer?
I did. They are some of my photography that I've collected over the course of the years.
It's really a beautiful, beautiful book.
And can I add one more thing?
Yes, please.
You asked about what people can do to get involved. The National Lung Cancer Partnership does give 80% of every single dollar donated to research, which I don't know, that's not the norm for nonprofit agencies. So it's a great organization to support, and also quit smoking.
And quit smoking. And don't smoke around your children.
Absolutely.
Right? Please. Thank you. Okay, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care. Good luck with everything.
Thank you for supporting our cause.
You're very welcome. And stay tuned to What's Going on Seville. We have a very interesting guest coming up next. He's a very smart man. If I even start to list his titles, we'll just be here all night. So stay tuned, and we will see you soon.